So we have our page layouts. Now it's time to actually create two things, our example pages, and then also we can start with all of those other extra little pages that we need. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually make sure that I have a blank master page spread showing up here. And this is going to be your title page spread right here, and I can hold off on actually putting that in there. I'm actually going to add two more, and that's going to be for my acknowledgments. On that sheet of paper that I gave you that tells you the page spreads, I've just added those pages, and then because those don't line up with anything else, I don't actually need to make sure that they line up and that they are following the same master. Now after that, so on from pages 6 through 57, there's actually going to be many more page spreads. So right now we have 5 pages and 3 spreads. There's two options that we can actually do to create these content pages. So one is to click and drag like I just did, or if I'd like to, I can actually right click and insert pages right here. And I can actually say that I want to have 52 pages because that's my content number. They're going to go after page 5, that's good. And those are all going to follow my B content. And so I can very quickly add in my pages right away. Okay. So now that I have that, I'm actually going to hold off on all of those extra ones at the end because I'm going to do the next step right here on my page 6, which is to actually put in some of that content. And we're going to talk about styles here. So, in order to, and this is just a reminder, in order to put in text, or to put in a photo, all you have to do is go to File and Place. And then what you do is you find the correct photo, and for this one I'm going to put in this example right here. And you may have some options here. If it's a Photoshop document, you can actually select the layers you want. I don't need to. This is all good for me. And what I'm going to do is just kind of click in the middle right there. It showed up and it's actually cropped fairly well. I can actually, if I want to, go to Fitting and I can fill the frame proportionally. If I want to, I can also kind of crop here in InDesign. And so if I move my mouse towards the middle, I can see I get this orange outline, and I can actually hold Shift while I click and drag, and I can see that I have the image that is separate, totally separate from, take my select tool and clicking on it, this blue frame. And so I want to keep the frame exactly where it is, but I can crop and adjust the image as I want to, and holding Shift will keep it proportional. So please do that. Okay, so I have my image in there, and then what I also want to do is add in some text. And the way you do that is you hold Shift, Control, and then you click. And for this one, I'm just going to put in some text. You will have paragraphs and everything that you have in there, so you can adjust as you want. In this case, I'm just going to say Orange Westphalia, which is the type of vehicle it is. And then I can actually change my font, so I want this to be bigger. I don't want it to be Minion Pro, but I can select one of these other various correct and appropriate one. This one looks pretty good. A nice sans serif kind of fits, I think. I can, depending on the font, I might be able to switch it to, I may be able to switch it to bold and change various objects, portions of this, but for now I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger and call that good. Then over here what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go Control Shift and click here, and I'm going to put some text in here, and you're going to actually copy and paste some of your content text, but for our purposes right now, all I'm going to do is fill with placeholder text like so. And then that gives me some text to be able to see, and now I can kind of change the styles going on. one thing that's actually kind of a good idea is to take your text, highlight it, and then adjust that as you see fit. So I'm going to go and decide which font it is that seems the most appropriate for this book. I think, let's see, not something serif, not something script. I think a nice sans serif would be good. So I'll change that and I'll find a quick one. And it largely is up to your choice. I'm going to pretend this is the right one, even though I think, to be honest, I'll probably change that. Okay. I can also change the size however I like and call it good. And there we go. So now I've got my type the way I want it to be. I'm going to make this type and this type into my styles. So if I go to Window, Styles, and we're going to use Paragraph Styles. And again, if this pops up, all great. If not, you got a separate window. You can dock it to your side panel here. I'm going to go to Paragraph Styles, and because I have some of my text here selected, I can actually see this plus sign. It means that it was originally the basic paragraph, but then I manually made changes. And so if I hit the plus sign, it's going to make a style based completely off of that. The same thing can be done over here. Again, it's that basic paragraph, but I made some changes to it manually. If I make a new style right there, I can actually click on that paragraph style too, and ta-da, it is now that style. So now I have my two styles very quickly done. At this point, what you will do is you will actually go to File and Export, and there's an example page layout that you're going to create, and that assignment is actually this class, Graphic Design Beginning. Of course, make a new, if you haven't already, folder specifically for this book project, and try to save everything in here. So this is my example page layout. What's kind of cool about this is now that we have, I'm just going to keep that right there. Ooh, I got a warning there, and I'll tell you what that's all about. When I was changing my fonts, I actually had a bunch of text that was a little too big for this text box, and so what I can do is, you can see that red plus sign right here. It means I've got more text in there. And what I'm going to actually do is delete the extra text, but what you'll have to do is probably change your paragraph styles to fit, or maybe you go to your master page and adjust the size of your text boxes. And there, now we have more space for more text. You do want to keep all of this as consistent as possible, and so you want to make sure that if you do make that change, that usually having some spot line up and be as consistent as possible, making that change to the master as opposed to the page. But anyway, we have a master page, or a page example. So we've got the image, we've got the headline, we've got the text right there. So again, I exported it, and that is actually an assignment you will complete. We have our master pages, we have our paragraph styles, and from there, there's a couple other things that I'll post a couple of videos for, but largely this is actually a document that is ready for our content. And so you will be creating content is the next step after this.